In 2012, a Korean pop song featuring a man in sunglasses pretending to ride a horse became the first YouTube video in history to reach 1 billion views. At the time, it felt spontaneous, almost accidental. A humorous song, a strange dance, and the internet did the rest. Celebrities performed it, politicians referenced it, and news outlets analyzed it. It became one of the earliest examples of truly global meme culture. But reducing Gangnam Style to a viral joke oversimplifies what it represents. Gangnam Style was satire, and more specifically, it was satire rooted in the social structure of modern South Korea. When Gangnam Style reached 1 billion views, it was more than a numerical milestone. It marked a turning point in digital media history. For perhaps the first time in Korean language pop song dominated Western platforms without the need for translation, radio support, or traditional industry gatekeepers. Its success was driven almost entirely by digital circulation. However, global audiences focused primarily on the spectacle, the choreography, the humor, the eccentric visuals, while the social commentary embedded within the song received far less attention. To understand the satire, we must first understand what Gangnam represents. Gangnam is a wealthy district in Seoul associated with luxury apartments, designer boutiques, elite academies, and concentrated economic privilege. But it represents more than wealth. It symbolizes aspiration, prestige, elite status, and perhaps most importantly, it symbolizes the performance of success. Gangnam is not just a place, it is an identity built around visible achievement. When PSY says Gangnam Style, he is invoking a lifestyle defined by outward display. Gangnam Style is not simply a viral meme. It is a satire of class performance and consumer culture. And when it traveled globally, its meaning shifted. Domestically, it critiques the performance of success, while internationally, it becomes entertainment. This tension between intention and interpretation is central to understanding its cultural significance. One example appears in the lyric describing a classy girl who knows how to enjoy a cup of coffee. At first glance, the line appears romantic and refined. However, in contemporary Korean urban culture, expensive cafe consumption becomes associated with sophistication and social visibility. Cafes function as curated spaces, environments where individuals displayed lifestyle identity. Coffee was no longer simply a drink. It became a symbolic capital. By exaggerating this image of refinement, PSY exposes how everyday consumption becomes intertwined with status signaling. The humor resonates because Korean audiences recognize the exaggeration as as a socially familiar. The satire extends visually. The lyrics reference elegance and glamour, yet PSY performs in parking garages, playgrounds, public bathhouses, and subway stations. These are deliberately ordinary spaces. The contrast between the luxurious language and mundane settings exposes the artificial status of the performance. Prestige appears constructed rather than natural. The video separates the idea of wealth from the reality of space, inviting viewers to question whether displayed success really reflects the substance. The horse riding dance intensifies this exaggeration. The movement mimics dominance and authority, traits traditionally associated with power and status, yet it is performed in a deliberately cartoonish manner. Instead of reinforcing its prestige, it transforms it into absurdity. Satire functions by exaggerating what society treats seriously. Here, status is exaggerated until it collapses into comedy. This critique reflects a broader sociological phenomenon, often described as status anxiety. In highly competitive societies, achievement becomes something that must be visibly demonstrated. Success is externalized, it is curated, it is displayed, performed. Identity becomes tied to consumption patterns, aesthetic presentations, and lifestyle branding. Importantly, the song does not condemn wealth itself. It critiques the anxiety surrounding the need to display it. When the song crossed borders, its meanings shifted. International audiences largely interpreted it as a comedic spectacle. The satire grounded in Korean social dynamics became secondary. This shift highlights a central principle of cultural circulation. Meaning is not fixed, it is shaped by the cultural familiarity. Without contextual knowledge, satire can easily become novelty. When cultural products circulate globally, layers of meanings are often transformed. A local critique may become global entertainment. Digital platforms amplify the visibility, but they can also flatten the nuance. Gangnam Style demonstrates how a single text can generate multiple interpretations, depending on the audience's social and cultural context. Despite this transformation, Gangnam Style marked a pivotal moment in digital Hallyu. It demonstrated that Korean language music could dominate global platforms. It expanded international awareness of Korean popular culture. In many ways, it paved the way for later global phenomenons such as BTS and the institutionalization of K-pop in Western markets. In this sense, Gangnam Style functioned simultaneously as critique and catalyst. It questioned status culture domestically while accelerating Korea's cultural influence globally. Now, while the world laughed, Korea understood.